Welcome back to the Triple XP Arcade, the podcast where nerd culture levels up. We're here to press X on all things nerdy, so grab a token, press start, and let's rack up some
Triple XP!
Today in the arcade, as always, we have myself, Drew.
Hey everyone, you have Lex locked in.
What's up? It's Miguel.
We're 3 weeks into our November Nostalgia Month. We've had a lot of really great memories so far, and I'm really excited for today's episode because we are talking about arcades today. And you've heard us reference this intermittently throughout the few episodes that we've released, and we grew up on arcades. Well, Gigs and I grew up with arcades. Mm-hmm. Lex, you had the unfortunate nature, as you mentioned, having the sort of the tail end as they started to get phased out. But arcades were some of my favorite memories from growing up. We had the common thing that we have mentioned is you go to the mall, you get dropped off at the arcade with a fistful of quarters, and our parents could just leave us there for honestly like 2 hours or more.
The whole day. It was literally the whole day.
I actually would have been fine just being left alone in the arcade for the whole day. So there was no concern for me of being like, oh, I'm bored or this is too long. I would have loved just hanging out in the arcade, open to close.
Agreed.
Do you remember some of the old arcades that you used to go to, Gigs?
100%. I think I remember all of them.
All of them?
Like even the layout. Like they're very entrenched in my memory.
Yeah. I know some of these might be specific to the city that we're in, but what was like one of your favorite arcades to go to?
So every mall had one at the time. I think early on, my favorite one was actually the one at the Northland Mall. I can't remember which one that one was called. One of them is Wizard's Castle. I don't remember.
Castle.
Yeah, I think that's the Northland one. There was another one at the other mall, which I cannot remember. It was across Kitty Corner, whatever that term is, around from the KFC. I can't remember what that one was called, though.
The KFC.
Yeah, that was at Market, if you remember.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That one. So these malls had different iterations. Wizard's Castle was the one that I was thinking of.
Yeah.
Wizard's Castle was, I want to say, like one of the few true arcades that we had in our city, because for some of the younger listeners, or even it doesn't even have to be that much younger, but even Lex's age group, as the core arcades were phasing out. Lex, you probably remember some of like the newer style arcades like Easy Street, right?
Easy Street's the one I remember the most.
Really?
I think that's the only one I went to as well.
Do you remember which one? Because their city had two.
I
guess it would have been Chinook. Okay. Yeah, that was the bigger and the nicer one. Yeah, the other one was at Sunridge.
Oh.
It's where it turned into a Gold's Gym eventually.
That's right.
And then into, I don't know what it is now, but
yeah.
Ooh, that's huge.
Yeah. The Easy Street was a huge place.
Easy Street was awesome when we were kids too. This was back when you would use tokens still. So for the younger folks now, obviously the quote arcades that you see, like the Rec Room, things like that. With the ticket redemption games, you have like your card or your wristband that you load and you tap on the machine. That's too new school for me. I like it back in the day when they had the token machines and you drop like $20 bill in there and then you just hear clink, 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 clink for like,
well, it gave you like a deal too. It was like 100 tokens for $20, which is like a nickel. Is it a nickel? I don't even know what the math works out to, but but it's like if you put in $10, you only get like 40. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then if you put in $5, you only get 10 or something like that. So it's like the more you spend, the more tokens you got. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was awesome.
And just having your pockets loaded with tokens, and then you're playing the ticket redemption machines when they would actually dispense tickets as well. So that was the Easy Street era before everything kind of got high-techized. There actually was an arcade along that theme. I don't know if you guys remember this, but do you remember the Palladium?
Vaguely. I remember the Palladium in the other city.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the Palladium was kind of just a bigger version of Easy Street. I think there was multiple floors to the Palladium, and I think that one actually still had tokens and ticket redemption at that time as well, because it wasn't super recent. Like, we're talking, this was still probably over 20 years ago.
Yeah, that was, well, I mean, the last time we went, you were in uni, I think, right?
To Palladium?
Yeah.
Oh, I was in university even?
When you were in uni, yeah, because you were, up there, and we visited, and then we hung out at Palladium. Didn't we?
Yeah, okay.
And so
I've never been to a single Palladium in my life.
Really?
They all closed down when I wanted to go.
True. I think you were like just turning 18 when it closed, Lex.
That's too bad.
Oh, was there an age restriction to it?
I think they served alcohol in parts of it, so yes, ish.
Yeah, I think there was maybe time cutoffs, like at post 10 p.m. was like, now you have to be over 18 or something.
Okay.
Just so they don't have grade school kids running around till midnight playing at the arcade every night. But these like Easy Street, Palladium, even Chuck E. Cheese, these are sort of the what kids would call arcades nowadays. But
That's right.
these are not the arcades that Giggs and I grew up with.
No, we're talking about the video game arcades.
Yeah, these are, like I said, those are some of the names that everyone has probably heard of at some point in our life, but Wizard's Castle was, I think, very specific to our city. That wasn't like a franchise that was across the country or anything like that. And Wizard's Castle was literally just like a storefront space in the mall that just had video arcade game cabinets. So there was no ticket redemptions, there were no prize games, no crane games. This is where we would go when you hear, like, oh, Mortal Kombat 2 just came out in the arcades. These are the arcades that you go to find the arcade games, right?
Yeah. I'm trying to think if there's any good representation of the arcades that we grew up with in a movie or like some kind of media. Because the most recent thing I can think of is Stranger Things, but that was more of an 80s, late 70s arcade, which was different.
I think
Terminator 2.
Terminator 2?
Yeah, that's right. Terminator 2. I was going to say even Pixels.
I never saw it.
That kind of leans more towards 80s as well, but yeah, I mean, like arcade games, pinball machines, like those are the kind of the classic arcades that I loved growing up. So Giggs, when we think about Wizard's Castle, because Wizard's Castle sort of evolved, like I said, when there was new arcade cabinet that would come out or that you hear about it kind of on the playground, you go to the Wizard's Castle to see if they have the new cabinet in. Do you remember some of like the core arcade cabinets where you're like, I'm going to go to Wizard's Castle and like these are the games that I have to play while I'm here?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Well, okay, first of all, so all of the arcades were kind of awesome.
Yeah.
There are even mini arcades in a lot of theaters.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
And like one of my favorite, one of those ones was at like I don't know if it's Cineplex or Famous Players, whatever it is now, but it's at Northland and it's a gym now. But before, it was one of the only places in the city that had SNK cabinets. So that had like Metal Slug. It had,
that's right.
Yeah, it had Windjammers. It had like Bubble Bobble. Or I guess it's not SNK, but the Neo Geo cabinets.
Yeah.
So it's like one of the only places that had those, which was weird because it was in a theater. But yeah, I always got super hyped for that place. But in general, I remember when Street Fighter 2 came out, when Mortal Kombat came out, and those were like the games people lined up, put the quarter on the cabinet.
Yeah.
You know,
Explain the quarter on the cabinet culture Like, how explain how that works because a lot of our viewers will have never experienced that. So explain that, Gigs. How does that work?
So hopefully people understand what we're talking about when we're talking about an arcade cabinet, what they look like. You know, it has the title of the game at the top. It has a screen in front of the two players, typically. One player on the left, one player on the right. And people would put a quarter down on the screen corner, and that would mark your place in line for the next person that got to play. So in a fighting game, it's usually winner stays. That's just the nature of the game. So the loser has to put in another quarter to continue, whereas the winner gets to keep going. So everyone put down a quarter on the screen, and that marked your place because typically no one really formed a line because everyone was watching. So you put down the quarter, and then the person gets knocked out. They go to the back of the line, or they move a quarter to the back of the row of quarters. And then the person who put the quarter that's next up takes their quarter, puts it in the machine, and plays the winner. So it was like a constant rotation of people playing one of the fighting games.
What I loved about this was that it was all honor system. So if you know that your quarter is kind of third from the back, you just kind of like, you're watching the game as you're playing too, or as people are playing, but it comes up and then your quarter will come up, and, you know, if you haven't already like claimed that it's yours, people will start looking around like, whose quarter is this? Like, you know, like the honor system was just great because everyone knows it's like winner stays, and then you get the respect of the people in the arcade. If you're just like wiping people out and they're just kind of circulating around you staying, you get that reputation of like, oh, dude, that's the guy who's like really good at Tekken or whatever cabinet they're on. But I miss that culture. I
know the arcade culture it's super fun. Like there's a lot of camaraderie, and everyone's pretty like chill and cool. But again, that might just be because we were kids and we thought very positively about everything. But nobody really gave anybody a hard time. I never really saw anybody get upset at an arcade, like even growing up, everyone was pretty chill. Like, I think it was probably because the games were only a quarter, and it was just kind of like fun.
How young do you remember being in the arcade, Gigs?
Ooh boy, I think those are some of my earliest memories. So I must have been like 8 or 9, maybe.
8 or 9.
Yeah. Like I remember looking up and like barely reaching the controls.
Yeah.
And like I wasn't as tall as everybody else. I remember, talking to the guy to get quarters and stuff, and like I couldn't play
a quarter dispenser on his hip.
Yeah, I couldn't play games like pole position because like hitting the pedal and the steering, unholding the steering wheel is too hard for me.
Yeah.
So like that's how small I was.
So this is a story that my parents like to tell. My dad specifically. He loves to tell this story all the time. I was playing in arcades since I was at least 5. And the story that I remember, or that my dad always likes to tell, is we had a family trip to Las Vegas when I was 5. So obviously I'm not old enough to be gambling or anything like that. And we had gone to the Circus Hotel.
Woo!
And at that time we had... all of the hotels had proper arcades, not like the kinds that you see nowadays. So proper arcades with arcade cabinets. And my favorite game at the time was Rampage. And we've talked a little bit about this. I had Rampage on the NES, but the arcade version of Rampage looked so much better. The graphics looked so much crisper. The sounds coming from the cabinet were so recognizable. But yeah, I was 5. That was my favorite arcade game. And I know that because I've played that a whole bunch of times. So I was so excited when I saw it at the Circus arcade. And so, as my dad will tell everyone, I was just asking him for quarter after quarter after quarter. And I was just feeding the machine over and over again because I pulled up a stool and I was sitting up on the stool so I could reach the top of the cabinet. And I was just there playing Rampage, and I knew They have a home video on VHS of me playing. And, I still remember that exact moment because, I know what I'm trying to do. I know what the goal of the game is. I know, like, when I lose a life or when I lose my all my lives, like, I know I have to put another quarter in. So, yeah, I was 5 at the time, and I had a favorite arcade cabinet. So that's kind of like the earliest I can remember. But I know for sure I was spending a lot of time at arcades before then also. So I don't know how this was happening because at 5 years old, I'm definitely with someone. Either my brother or my dad or something. Someone's accompanying me in the arcades here. But that's, I can genuinely say I've been playing and loving the arcade since I was 5 years old.
Yeah, I actually just looked it up. I must have been about that same age. Because Street Fighter came out in 1991.
Okay,
so,
yeah.
Like, if my memory of the arcade cabinet exists, that must mean I must have been around 4 or 5. Which is like wild to me. Now that I think about it logically, I'm like, there's no reason a 5-year-old should be in an arcade.
Yeah, so let's talk a little bit about some of the arcade games that we liked to play, I guess, back in the earlier memories. So the games that I remember always wanting to make sure that I at least tried to get a high score in, and we've talked about this before, Galaga. Anytime I see a Galaga cabinet, even to today, I have to throw a quarter in and see if I can drop my name on the high scoreboard for a Galaga cabinet. There's a lot of beat-em-ups, actually,
There's a ton of them that I remember.
Yeah. I remember I really liked Knights of the Round.
Oh.
Do you remember that one?
Oh, yeah. Played that at Galloping Ghost. It's good.
Yeah.
It's such a good game.
Yeah, Knights of the Round was a great one. The Final Fight games in the arcade were awesome. Just visually kind of has the same style as Street Fighter. So the Capcom games always really struck my eye anytime I saw a cabinet in the arcade.
Yeah. I was always drawn to... so at Wizard's Castle, I very specifically remember... Or actually, I don't know if it was Wizard's Castle or the other arcade that I'm thinking of. But it was at the back where the corner was with the guy that gives out the quarters. Mm-hmm. There was the Spider-Man machine. That was the one where it was Spider-Man, Black Cat, and I think the villain was Venom, and you couldn't be him, but like the arcade cabinet itself was a Spider-Man.
Was that the 2-player cabinet or the 4-player cabinet?
It had Namor as well, so I think that's the 4-player one.
So it was Spider-Man, Black Cat, Hawkeye.
Hawkeye.
The game,
it's always
the game
Hawkeye.
I called it Submariner is who he was in the game.
Oh, right. Even though, I don't know why they called it. Was Namor offensive? I have no idea.
Yeah, that cabinet was sick.
Yeah.
So for anyone who hasn't seen, have you seen this cabinet, Lex? Do you know which one we're talking about?
I think I saw it at Galloping Ghost, and we played it a bit.
Yeah. So it starts off kind of like regular beat-em-up style, kind of like the X-Men arcade cabinet, which was also a sick cabinet also. But then there were moments where it would like tilt shift and zoom out, and now you're scaling like a building, side-scrolling, kind of platforming with a giant Venom attacking you. So it would kind of like zoom in and out of perspective throughout the level. But that cabinet looked awesome.
Yeah.
Also.
I just remember that it sucked having to play anyone but Spider-Man, though. Which was really... Because it's like, you're a kid. You're like, I don't know who Black Cat is. I don't know who this guy wearing only underwear is. And Hawkeye, no one likes Hawkeye.
That's true, yeah. That's like goes for the same for Captain America and the Avengers cabinet, where you had Captain America, Iron Man, Vision, and Hawkeye was also the least preferred character in that group.
Like, why put this normal guy in here? It's so lame.
It was actually funny because Captain America can't fly either, but there were parts in Captain America and the Avengers where you would do like a side-scrolling bullet hell kind of level, and Hawkeye and Iron Man are obviously flying and they're shooting lasers or whatever, and then Captain America and Hawkeye had to ride like a scooter, basically.
Yeah, an airborne little rascal with guns.
Yeah. So for some reason, it looked cool with Captain America doing it because he's on the thing and he's like throwing his shield instead of shooting lasers, so it looked cool. But
yeah, that's right.
Yeah, and then Hawkeye is just like this dude sitting on a hover scooter shooting his bow and arrow, and you're like, no one wants to be this character. Let's be real. Sorry, Hawkeye. Sponsor us, maybe, but
no.
No,
I'm
we
good.
don't take sponsorship from Hawkeye.
I'm good.
Harsh.
Nah.
Brutal. So yeah, Spider-Man, X-Men, of course, a great multiplayer cabinet as well.
Cadillacs and Dinosaurs. Do you remember that?
Ooh,
yeah.
Cadillacs and Dinosaurs was a really good cabinet too.
There were so many good beat 'em ups when we were growing up, man.
Yeah.
And do you remember? I can't remember which arcade had it, but Alien versus Predator, the arcade cabinet was incredibly fun to play.
That could be maybe in my top 3 of all beat 'em ups from the arcade era. Alien versus Predator was awesome. I don't know what it was.
So there's 2 predators and there's 2 humans. Drew, go ahead. I think it sounds like you know the actual characters.
No, I was gonna say the same thing. I was trying to remember the names. So it was, but basically it was a girl and a guy on the human side, and the girl was kind of like, I want to say similar to like Ibuki from Street Fighter, kind of like agile, like ninja style fighting, and then the guy was like a big army guy, and I think he had like a turret on his arm or something.
Yeah, he had like a gun arm. Like one of his arms was straight up like a cannon or something like that.
Very cool. And then the two different kinds of predators, and the whole game you're just fighting xenomorphs for. That's the enemy for the entirety of the game.
That's right.
But it was
okay.
I don't know. It was just like that's the first game that I think that you could ever really play as the Predator, and which was like crazy cool in and of itself. Just never being able to play as the Predator in anything before, you know. I remember we were playing this at an arcade one time, and I was with you, Gigs, and this was still, we were pumping quarters in for it, but I remember making it through like a decent amount of that game, either with you or with you there, because I would lose a life and you only have 10 seconds to continue. And some games let you, like, if you press a button or something, it'll like reset the counter. Some games, if you press a button, it'll make the counter tick faster. Yeah. And then other games, you just do nothing. So this was kind of like the downfall, not the downfall. This was kind of like a negative side of having the quarter version of the cabinets, which is I would lose my lives. I would hit the continue screen. And I remember I would like be passing you money, Gigs. I'd be like, give you like a loonie or like a $5 bill. I'm like, can you go get some more quarters real quick? And then I remember you like grab them, then you would like run to the counter, or you would run to like the token machine or the quarter machine.
It was like, the guy. It was the guy with the holster, the quarter holster thing. Like,
that's right.
Okay, so I was saying it's like, you know, you don't really know stress as a kid, but that was stress. Nobody knows what it's like to try and change $1 when there's another person in front of you and you have like 10 seconds on the timer. Like, that's some crazy shit. Like, you know what I mean? That's so stressful.
Yeah, because like if you miss that 10-second window, however much you had put into the machine at that point, that's now like you never. There's no record of it ever again. So you're just like, oh, if
no
you
passwords, nothing. You got nothing. That was it.
Yeah, if you put in like 16 quarters or something, and then you don't get the continue, then you're like, oh man, I made it to like the last level of Alien versus Predator, and people are like, no, you didn't.
Yeah,
you know,
no proof.
There's no proof. There's no proof that you've done that.
Yeah, nobody carried cameras around with them. It's all word of mouth.
But that was the stress is real though, Gigs. Totally.
Oh, totally. Like, or it's like you're trying to like shove a $5 bill in the thing and it like jams.
Spits it out.
You're like, ah. Yeah. Awful.
Yeah. Especially for those continue screens was just so stressful. So yeah, tons of great beat 'em ups. Some of the other ones that I remember always gravitating to was Virtual On.
Oh man!
Oh, yeah.
Virtual On was so good.
So this is like a weird story that I remember from Wizard's Castle, because I think this was a conversation that was way ahead of its time at that time. So I was just playing Virtual On, and the one that Wizard's Castle, the one that I'm thinking of, had the two booths,
facing each other.
Yeah. So I was just playing by myself, and then someone else hopped on the other one, and then it was like you battled the other person. And so Virtual On, for anyone who hasn't seen this game, you're basically like piloting like I want to say like a mech, yeah. So there's different varieties of mechs, and you're controlling it with two
flight sticks, yeah.
Flight sticks, yeah. That's what I'm. So there's flight stick in your left hand and a flight stick in your right hand with triggers, and you're kind of piloting the mech like that. So someone else hopped onto the other side. At this point, I think I was probably around, I want to say maybe 8 or 9. So I was a kid, like a very obvious kid. And the other guy was an adult. At least from my perspective, he was an adult. He had a beard and everything, so he was...
as far as I was concerned, he was 60.
Yeah. So I was like, this guy's just an old dude that's playing. So we played a couple times. So I beat him in our first match, and then he put in another. I think Virtual On was actually a loony to play.
Yeah.
But
Virtual On was absolutely $1 because it was like top of the line. Yeah.
So he threw another one in, and I think we played a couple matches, and I played him maybe 3 times total, and I beat him all the time. And then so he stopped playing, and then he just watched me play against the computer for a little bit, just kind of like stood behind my booth and watched me play. And then afterwards, he's like, yo, man, you're like really good at this game. Like, have you played this a bunch? And I'm like 8 at this time. I'm like, I don't know. I'm just like, I saw it at the arcade, and I just played it. And then he was talking about like, there's like a tournament for Virtual On or something or other that's like happening. Knocked my mic over.
I got so excited, just waving your arms. Yeah, you're trying to do the jamming both flight sticks in opposite directions.
Yeah, so he's like, there's a tournament for this. Like, you should totally look into like registering and playing, because like he's like, you have a decent shot of like going pretty far. And I was like, okay, you're the like stranger danger. Like, don't stop talking to me, adult man. And I kind of never thought about it before until I remembered it as an adult, and I was like, oh, that's actually crazy for me to remember that like at a young age like that, someone had flagged that I was just like really good at a game that I didn't think anything of. Kind of like a weird experience, but that's kind of the camaraderie thing that Gigs is talking about. Like, you're at the arcade and you're playing people face to face. There's no online in the arcade, so you earn some respect when you get to hold your own at a cabinet, right? Mm-hmm. I was just gonna say, you had the story about you on the Killer Instinct cabinet, right?
Yeah, so that one was at the other mall, because again, every mall had an arcade. So this was the one that was in the back corner by the bathrooms where the Orange Julius was.
Yeah.
And I asked Mom for $1 or whatever. I think Killer Instinct was $2 at the time. But yeah, she just let me go play. Parenting was different back then, let's just say. Anyways, so I just went there by myself. Or maybe my brother was with me. I can't remember. But I played Killer Instinct against a couple adults from my perspective. And I beat like 2 or 3 of them in a row as a child. And they were like, oh man, you're really good at this. And I'm like, yeah. And then I would just like keep playing. I didn't know what to say to an older person. I just kind of ignored them for the most part. But yeah. Killer Instinct was my jam. I learned all the combos from my brother, so let me get that. I got a shout out to my brother for teaching me how to do full Gores combos. Yeah. They're muscle memory still. I still remember how to do all of them.
So, just to kind of tack on to that story, Gigs, because I think you probably do remember this, but with Killer Instinct, at most arcades, it used to be, like when it first came out, it was a loony, so it was $1 to play. Mm-hmm. And there was a gas station around our neighborhood that had a single arcade cabinet, a Killer Instinct cabinet, that had it on for 50 cents. And we would go there all the time, specifically your brother. And I think you and I would go along with him. But because the Killer Instinct cabinet was so cheap, that's where we would go. And then your brother would sort of just like practice on that Killer Instinct cabinet.
It was our other cousin too. So not your brother Lex, but our other cousin would come with us, and that was when I found out I was fat. To be honest, because I remember. Okay, story time. So. Okay. So,
you're giving everyone the wrong impression of what you look like, because you just, in the previous episode, you just talked about how you lined up for a year's worth of free burritos.
No, to be honest, this is the right impression. That's just two things proving the same,
Okay, sorry. Go ahead.
Okay, so I remember where it was, and so it's kind of by Alexa's old place, but like further down. And we had to bike there. And it was the most exhausting thing I had ever done in my entire life. And that's how I knew as a child that I was out of shape. Because we would roll up to the gas station and my brother's ready to go play. And I was just wheezing with the bikes. Asking for a soda or something. Yeah,
it was a pretty treacherous trip to the gas station from where we had to leave from. That's like not an easy bike. And you're younger than your brother too. So I mean, I'm gonna give you some credit here, Gigs. I'm like, the fact that you're able to bike at that age to the gas station still is kind of impressive in and of itself.
Do you think so? I don't know, man. Like we drive along that road every once in a while, and I'm like, it's not even that bad,
Well, you had the extra cred of this is a non-gaming related mini side anecdote story, but you also had the cred of being able to two-wheel bike at a very young age. I, on the other hand, as you both probably remember, didn't learn how to ride a two-wheeler till I was like 13 or something.
I remember when
me too.
Yeah, I remember when your dad taught you how to bike. We were all in like this gravel parking lot at like a campsite or something when it happened.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Yeah, and I had like a full mustache, and I had my learners before I something crazy.
Realistically, I think you were probably only like 8 or 9 when you learned to ride a bike, which isn't even that old when you think about it.
I think it just feels old because when we would hang out, I think both of you and your brother, Lex, would be two-wheel riding, and I would not have a two-wheel bike because I couldn't.
Yes, that is correct.
What made it feel so much worse.
Yeah, I don't think I learned how to two-wheel bike till I was 12.
Really?
Yeah, I was in junior high at the time.
Man.
Because we only had one bike that was 2 wheels. So, again, younger brother, I never got a chance to really use it.
Mm-hmm. I feel less embarrassed about myself, Lex. But yeah, I mean, it was a lot later than it should have been. But besides the point. Killer Instinct at this gas station, that's where your brother sort of cut his teeth onto the cabinet, I think, and then passed on his skills onto like the full-fledged big stage arcades, which was awesome. But very like, that's the other thing that's kind of sad about some of the newer or some of the younger folks who will have ever had the experience of playing at an arcade is the ability to hold a cabinet and have people come and go as you stay on as the winner and king of the hill. The cabinet is like some of the best feelings you can ever imagine. Like, I don't know why, but there's just nothing like hopping onto a cabinet and just knocking someone off and just staying there for a ridiculous amount of time and then having a crowd grow behind you just to watch you play this video game. Mm-hmm. It's so satisfying.
It's not even just that. It was like, so when Mortal Kombat came out, everybody was just on the same page about trying to do fatalities and special moves. So
that's right.
So all the kids would gather. We would be like huddled around the Mortal Kombat cab, and it's like whenever somebody won a match, you know, all the kids would be like, "Oh, you got to do down, block, whatever, blah 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 blah." to do like a fatality, right? So it's like everybody's in on it to see the cool stuff happen on the arcade machine. And that was like, for me, that was my defining memory of arcades. It was just like everybody's in on it together to enjoy the same thing. Yeah. Man.
And the crowdsourcing of combos or moves.
Yeah, because there's no internet, right? So it's just a bunch of kids sharing their notes from what they scammed off of Game Pros that they opened up randomly. So it's like every kid's got like their little notepad of this character's special moves or whatever. And and you'd be like, oh yeah, let me write that down. And I'm sure as an adult that would be the cutest thing to see, but when you're a kid, that's like your homies. That's like that's your crew. You don't even know each other, but you're all on the same page, on the same team, right? Even though you're technically fighting against each other, you just want to see the cool stuff. So.
Yeah, fighting games was like had its own specific culture in the arcades, which was, I mean, a lot of the fighting game pros that we follow, like Justin Wong, they grew up in this arcade setting as well. So
it's crazy. You know, Justin Wong is Lex's age, I think, or close to.
Oh, really?
Oh, no way. Really?
Yeah, man. It's
I thought he was older than me.
Nah, he's or maybe he's my age. I can't remember, but he's younger than you think.
That's crazy.
Which is really crazy. Yeah. Like we're just the same. we're all in that same peer group.
Yeah.
Except he grew up in L.A. or whatever.
Oh,
by the way, my brother, I asked my brother previously, and I just remembered now that the place where we played Killer Instinct, he said it was called Rojas or something along the
convenience store.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
that sounds.
Shout out to Rojas, sponsor us.
Now, aside from like the other, like the core cabinets, there was also near the later times when the arcades were starting to taper off. They started introducing some different kinds of games with peripherals, like light gun games. So when I was a kid, there wasn't a ton of light gun types of games. There was like Terminator 2. Maybe there was a House of the Dead.
Yep.
Maybe.
House of the Dead was super, super popular when it came out. Because it was right? Because everybody wanted to play it. It was like the cool light gun game. Because there wasn't really anything quite as interesting. Like Point Blank was a game, but it wasn't as fun to a lot of people because it didn't have, you're shooting zombies. Shooting zombies was way different from shooting targets. So everybody crowded around House of the Dead, which is a loony.
Yeah, I personally loved Point Blank. That was one of my favorite arcade games too. Target shooting, but it sort of was the source of the speed firing method, where you would hold the light gun in one hand and then with your like index finger, you would just like rapidly go back and forth on the trigger, to blast off as many as you can. And that skill carries over into like House of the Dead and other light gun games as well. But that's where I remember honing the rapid shooting skills for the arcade. I think my other favorite light gun game was Time Crisis 2.
Yeah, Time Crisis 2 specifically, because that was the first one that was 2 players as well.
Yeah. And having the pedal mechanic where you can hide behind a wall and then step on the pedal to pop out and then fire, or it might have been the reverse, but having the ability to hide behind a wall and then like actively be engaged instead of just being on like a rail shooter where you have to shoot everything on the screen, just having the hide and kind of strategy behind it felt really badass when you were in the arcade.
Y'all remember a Sniper Scope when that was released? Oh, that was some advanced stuff. That had a little screen on the lens of the sniper rifle.
Through the scope, yeah.
That was very cool technology. Even today, I think that's really cool technology.
Yeah, man. So all of these games, sort of more the dollar games. That's what I called them. All the dollar games started coming out. So that was like after Wizard's Castle. And that was at the other newer arcade that was downtown, if you guys remember, next to the IMAX theater.
Okay.
That was the hot arcade after like the Wizard's Castles and stuff like that all closed down. And that's where all those games are like entrenched in my mind. If you remember, there were like a lot of really weird forays into 3D arcade games at that time too. There was this like boxing game where everyone's head is like a cube or something like that.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. That game was super fun. Like that's where a lot of the light gun games came out. That's where you play a lot more of the sit down racer type games, like the is it California Dreamin'? Is that what it was called? Cruisin' USA, something.
Cruisin' USA.
Yeah. So you have a whole bunch of those, and that was also the first place I ever saw DDR as like
oh my gosh,
being
DDR.
released. Yeah.
The popularity of DDR was insane when arcades were huge. Lex, were you ever experiencing like that DDR craze, or was that after?
No. DDR, I played at my friend's place because he had bought the Madden game for I think it was PS2 at the time.
PS2, yeah.
Oh wow, okay. So you missed out on the arcade.
Yeah.
So
but I've seen like more recently videos. So it's still really popular today. Like
yeah.
I know the Rec Room has DDR cabinets and people actively line up for that. Like put down your backpack, your jackets and watch people go off on it.
They have their sweatbands and their water bottles, their Nalgene bottles with their anime stickers on them.
Yeah, it is impressive what they can pull off in that game. I do not have the coordination to do that kind of difficulty in that style of game. It's impressive.
Do you guys remember? Okay, so I had DDR on the PS2 near the end of the PS2's lifespan, and we had like a family get together at our place, and we set up DDR, and we each took one direction and used our hands to see if we could do a level, and we failed. Do you guys remember this?
That checks out. I vaguely remember this.
This was like a long time ago, but yeah, that was embarrassing, man.
Yeah, so it's like even more impressive when you see someone do this by themselves with their feet on the cabinet. It's insane. But this is the experience that you've described, Lex, is actually kind of probably the closest thing to the old arcade replicated experience that we get now. Because it was the same back in the day too, right? Gigs, like you'd have the people that would be lining up. They would bring all their backpacks, their water bottles, their gear, and they just set up camp at the DDR machine, and they're just loony after loony going at it. We don't see the quarter culture anymore because the fighting game cabinets just don't exist anymore. But with the DDR cabinets, it's kind of nice to see that it's kind of held up the same culture as before.
Yeah, man, the DDR people are like legit. So I knew a guy. He like lost a ton of weight playing DDR. He was like one of the guys I worked with, and he lost like 100 pounds playing DDR. It's crazy. What? Yeah, he went from like a big dude to like cut. And I asked him, he's like, "Yeah, man, I just played DDR and went to like goth shows." Like I was like, "What?" So he would just mosh. He just moshed and played DDR, and he lost like 100 pounds. It was wild.
There you go. For anyone listening, if you want to try out a new workout regime,
yeah, DDR and mosh.
Shows.
Yeah, let's go punch people and dance. That's it.
So we had a lot of these kinds of arcades when we were kids. As adults, it's very hard to find similar types of things. I think the last arcade I remember before they were fully phased out and they became sort of treasures to find wherever I went was the University Arcade, the Cove. Do you remember that, Gigs?
Yo, how many times did we decide on the bus the morning of, we're like, let's skip. let's just skip. Let's go to the university and let's go play some video games. Oh, man.
The Cove had a good arcade at the time.
Yeah.
It was the last one in the city, I think.
One of, yeah. It was only that one and the one that was by the IMAX. And that was
The downtown one.
And that was already starting to slide because that was turning into crane games and things like that.
Yeah, the thing I liked about the Cove is, for the listeners, you see that Gigs and I lean towards fighting games quite a bit, actually. So we have a lot of fighting game experience in arcades and consoles and whatever. But the thing that I liked about the Cove was this is where I got to play the Capcom versus SNK 2, or the Capcom versus the CVS cabinets, because I couldn't find those ones anywhere else. And they were $1 at the time to play, but I remember just being hooked on CVS 2. That game was incredible in the arcade.
The Cove also had Marvel 2. I
remember. That's right.
Yeah, that was the first time I got absolutely bodied by someone that actually plays Marvel. And like I was like very, very casual, right? Like we were skipping classes. There was no other way to play Marvel other than at the arcade. And I swear it was probably Justin Wong for all I know. It was the Wozler. The Wozler came in and he just bodied me, this 16-year-old Asian kid. Oh, man. It was so good, though. The Cove was great, man.
Yeah, the Cove is like where you found people who were good at these games. Because like the Wizard's Castle or any other arcade, like usually there's just like people that are kind of messing about. And you get like a 50-50 shot, like beating whoever's on the cabinet anywhere else. But at the Cove, if you see someone on the cabinet, you're like, okay, you know that this person plays that game and you know that they're going to be good. So you're like, I'm not going to try playing this game for the first time against this person. I have to practice and build my way up to playing against someone at the Cove, because that was a stomping grounds for the fighting game people, right?
I think it was. Yeah, it kind of makes sense. The university crowd is kind of like usually the forerunners for that kind of stuff. So yeah, guaranteed those were like the FGC old heads. Yeah,
I remember the one big standout memory I have from the Cove was a bunch of the cousins were there. So I don't know how many of us were there, but I was playing CVS 2, and it was $1 to play at the time, and one of our cousins hopped on player 2 side to play against me, and I beat him that first round, and then he put in another loony, beat him again, put in another loony, and I remember I feel so bad. I think he put in around $20 worth of loonies. Just playing because he was like, no, I'm gonna beat you, and then he just kept feeding the loonies in, and after 20 he was like, okay, I'm done. But I felt so bad. But again, you feel good sometimes when
you feel so good. It feels so good. Oh man,
the Cove was really good for all the different kinds of cabinets as we transitioned into the newer generation of arcades. And then I think now we're kind of hopping into an era that you've had a lot more experience with, Lex. So like, for example, the three of us have been to Japan, and Japan, at least when we all went, full of arcades everywhere, right?
Mm-hmm.
Did you make it a mission to stop at as many arcades as you could when you were in Japan?
Like, I stopped at a bunch of them, but it was mainly for the crane games at that point.
Oh.
A lot of their games were pure Japanese. Like, I really wanted to play Final Fantasy Dissidia. I think Duosidium, when it came out, but everything was purely Japanese, so I couldn't even figure out how to start the game. So I put 200 yen in, and then I didn't know how to start the game. So then I just awkwardly walked away. I'm like, I wish I could have played that game.
Oh, man.
But that was back in 2014, whenever that game came out to the arcade. Yeah. But they had some crazy games there. There was the drum game. They're huge on rhythm games. There's the one where you have to tap a bunch of light screens.
Mm-hmm. They have whole floors that are just rhythm games.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. One of my favorite ones was the table flip game. I don't know if you guys have seen that one.
Yeah, I've seen it. Yeah.
But yeah, the premise of the game is there's a literal table in front of you, and you have to flip the table to make maximum damage on the screen. So like, one of the examples is you're just in your office, and on the screen, like, people are coming to bother you. There's people walking by, and your goal is to create as much damage from your table flip itself. So you really release like your stress in that game.
That's my kind of game, I feel like.
Yeah.
Yeah, Japan had so many cool kinds of games that I have never seen before. Like, I'm used to seeing one of three types. Either it's like a stand-up cabinet, it's a racing game, or it's a shooting game. Those were kind of like the three main ones in my arcade experience. But then you go to Japan, and then you have, like you said, Lex, all of these rhythm games. There's a lot of, I saw ones where there were like DJ setups. So you have like your mixer and your turntable. What else? The rhythm games that have like you're touching the screen or you're pushing buttons that are not a regular arcade cabinet layout, but designed specifically for whatever the rhythm game is. There was a lot of
like the Sphere games, like where it was like 360-degree screen around you. I don't know if you guys tried that one. Like, I tried.
Whoa, no.
It was a Star Wars game where you're in an X-wing.
Yeah.
Or something like that. And literally, like, you have to open the door, you get in, and then the screen turns on, and it's quite literally everything around you, like you're in an actual pod.
Mm-hmm.
That one was unbelievable. Both in like its style, but also like I'm going to throw up. There's way too much happening. But holy smokes, like the premise of that was unbelievable. And then like the game came stateside like a couple of years after, but it was just a big screen in front of you. It wasn't like the 3D pod that you were in Japan. Like, whoa,
not like fully immersive.
Sweet. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was on Hoth. Is Hoth the cold planet?
Hoth. Yeah.
Hoth, yeah.
Star Wars Episode 5.
Take down the AT-AT.
Yeah.
And that's why I was like throwing up, because I'm trying to look back at my cord while I'm swinging between the legs. I'm like, this is insane. Like, oh man, I can see why stormtroopers miss all the time. It's quite difficult.
Did you guys ever figure out how to play any of those card games? When I was in Japan, I always saw those things where people have like, they're basically like playing Yu-Gi-Oh on the arcade cabinet thing, and things are happening on the screen.
I definitely tried. I bought decks trying to figure it out, and I still couldn't figure it out.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Ditto.
They look so cool, though.
Yeah, they're really cool. There was I think it's called Lords of Vermilion or something like that, and they have like these little card vending machines next to the arcade cabinets, and obviously I can't read Japanese, so I bought two of them, thinking they were like little booster packs or something like that. And one of them just ended up being like sleeves, like the clear plastic sleeves. I was like, I spent like 500 yen on this.
Get wrecked for not knowing how to read Japanese.
I know, man. Like, uncultured swine I am.
Now, Gigs, did you ever try playing a fighting game in one of the Japanese arcades?
Every time I go to Japan, I do. Yes. So the very first time I went to Japan, I played a random Japanese fellow at Blaze Blue. Calamity Trigger, I think, was the one that was in the arcade at the time.
Yeah.
Got absolutely... Actually, no, I did okay. I won one round. I was playing Hakumen.
Okay.
Yeah. The thing is, I don't know if he was taking it easy on me because I'm clearly a foreigner, but yeah. So I played Blaze Blue the first time. I was too intimidated to play like Street Fighter 4 or anything like that. Second time I went to Japan, I definitely tried playing Street Fighter 6. That one was tough because there weren't a lot of people actually playing it. But I did manage to one night play a local Japanese guy, maybe like I think we did a best of 5 or first to 5, And yeah, that was just so fun, man. They're such a friendly bunch.
For the listeners who have not been to Japan, the reason why it's an important fact or important piece of information that these are Japanese people that were playing a fighting game at a Japanese arcade is because the skill level for arcade goers in Japan is just on average way higher than a lot of people that you would play in North America. I think that's sort of commonly known, like across the board. But when you go to a Japanese arcade and you see the people that are some like the salarymen or whatever that are playing at the cabinets, they're like, you just know that they're going to be pretty good at whatever they're playing. And so I played Street Fighter 4 once in a Japanese arcade. That's actually the only fighting game that I played against someone in Japan. And I thought, I played Street Fighter 4 like a decent amount. That's before I was playing Street Fighter competitively for anything, but I was like, I've played Street Fighter 4 a decent amount, so I'm pretty sure that I can sort of hold my own. And so I put in my yen and I played against the guy that was across from me, and I specifically remember he was playing Rolento, and for some reason this cabinet was set to first to three instead of your standard first to 2 rounds, right? Anyways, first to 3, and in Street Fighter 4 there's a concept of chip damage. If I throw an attack at you and you block it, you'll take a little bit of chip damage, right? Now, I played this very nice Japanese gentleman on the other side, and I got triple perfected in that game. For those of you who don't know how Street Fighter works, a perfect in a round means that I did not touch him a single time in the entire round. He beat me up from full health to depletion, and I didn't touch him. He didn't block any of my attacks. I just didn't make any contact with him whatsoever. And it's not for a lack of trying. I was really trying for the first round. I was really trying to win, obviously. For the second round, I was like, I just need to hit him once. And then I got perfected the second round. And then for the third round, I was like, I just need to make contact. I don't even have to hit him like properly. I just need him to block something so that I don't get perfected. And then he perfected me again. And that was when I had that realization of like, okay, so I'm just not at a skill level where I can play with Japanese people in this arcade. So I'm going to go stick to my foreigner games, and I'm going to bow myself out of this fighting game floor because I am very much outclassed by everyone here. So, a little bit of a shocking wake-up call for myself there when I was in China.
When you get humbled in a different country, that's rough, man.
Yeah, now in my head, he was like, I don't know, Evo 2013 champion. That's how I'm playing it in my head. But this was probably just like some guy that was like after work, he's like, I'm just going to stop and I'm going to throw in 100 yen and just kill some time and ruin this foreigner's life. So that was...
It's like that basketball player analogy. He's closer to Justin Wong than you are to him.
Yes, exactly. That's what it's like playing everyone in Japan, I felt like. There were just... the level of skill there was just like amazing to see, both in rhythm games and fighting games, and really anything else that I saw in the arcades.
Yeah, like, man, because an arcade there is still kind of I think the terminology used nowadays is it's a third space or something like that, where it's another spot for people to hang out outside of their not mandatory, but like their work life or their home life. So malls used to be that thing. Malls aren't really that thing anymore. But within malls during our time, arcades were our third space. And they still kind of sort of are in Japan. Much less so, from my understanding. But they still kind of have it. But we don't have that anymore. And it makes me like super sad and nostalgic for it. Because we don't have that cool third space where you just hang out and enjoy a hobby with a bunch of other people. I mean, you can, but it's very specific and niche. You have to go into the outskirts to some little shop somewhere.
So let's start wrapping up the episode here with our sort of last shared experience, because I think this one we can all speak to a little bit. We actually made a specific separate trip. This is when we talk about how nerdy we are, or that we're a bunch of nerds. We made a specific trip out to a city called Brookfield, Illinois, which houses the Galloping Ghost Arcade, which is the largest arcade in the United States, potentially the world. I think it might be the world. But
in terms of like sheer arcade cabinets, it's got to be the world, right?
Yeah. Yeah, so the Galloping Ghost Arcade is, so it's a little bit like maybe 20 minutes outside of Chicago proper. So it's like I said, a little city called Brookfield, Illinois. And the Galloping Ghost has over 1,000 arcade cabinets. It's actually, I think it's technically qualified as an arcade museum at this point as well. So we have cabinets from, right in the early eras, from like Pong, Space Invaders, Missile Command, things like that, all the way to like more recent cabinets. Like you'll see House of the Dead 4, you'll see some Jurassic Park light shooters there. A lot of...
There's like Mortal Kombat 11 there that you guys were playing.
Yeah, they had Mortal Kombat 1.
That's the one,
yeah. Yeah, I spent a lot of time on that cabinet when I was there too. Yeah, so there's a huge range of cabinets there, and they reveal or release, I guess reveal is probably more appropriate. They reveal a new cabinet every week, I think on Mondays. So their arcade grows literally weekly. And after having such a huge arcade drought, so like when we were growing up, I think arcades probably phased out in our city, I want to say around 2000.
Yeah, it was roughly around 2000.
Yeah. Like that's when they started tapering off, before they were just like fully the only arcades you could find are like the ones that you would see in the theater that are like, some ticket redemption arcades, like some small things like that. But in terms of like an arcade proper, I would say it was probably 20 plus years since I've seen like a proper one. So going to the Galloping Ghost Arcade was like honestly one of the best experiences in my life. That was such a cool thing to see. And so the three of us went there, and we spent a whole weekend just playing arcade games, literally from the moment we woke up till like usually midnight or after, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was nostalgia straight to the veins, man.
Yeah. The sound when you open the door, like all of the sounds of the arcade cabinets hitting you. Oh, so good. Lex, what were some of your standout memories or standout games that you played at the Galloping Ghost Arcade?
So,
what is this laugh? Why do you start with this like creepy laugh?
Because the one that stood out the most to me was Pretty Guardian Sailor Moon.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
I spent, I think, 2 hours trying to beat that game, and in terms of like credits and tokens, that must have been easily $100 worth in 25-cent tokens.
Yeah,
that game was unbelievably difficult. Easily the hardest beat 'em up game I've ever played in my life, but I tried to make it a thing where the majority of the games I would pick up and play, I would want to try and beat, or at least like if I had some interest in it. And the Sailor Moon one, I had some interest in it. But holy smokes, that game was crazy difficult. That was the cabinet where I definitely would have used the most tokens in it had I had to put in quarters each credit there, because I think I would die easily within every 45 seconds. That's like 5 lives gone, because the sheer amount of like enemies that are popping up and
like the damage
they're like flawless. They do. Yeah, the damage and like the perfect way they hit you. I'm like, this is insane. But I was invested in the story.
I don't know what the equivalent would be called, but it felt like it was like a bullet hell, but like a beat 'em up version, where there were just constant volumes of enemies that were coming after you that hit you all the time with like 100% accuracy. So you're basically fending off waves of enemies constantly that are hitting you so hard. So 45 seconds per every 5 lives doesn't sound like an exaggeration.
Yeah,
to be honest,
and
I saw you chewing through credits.
Yeah, It was insane. And like, I see where the meme of, do you know the Tuxedo Mask meme where he goes, my job here is done, and it's like he didn't do anything, then he leaves?
Yeah.
That's how he was in the game. He would throw his rows, he would enter, he would do nothing except aggro the enemies towards me and then peace out. I'm like, what was that? This makes it even harder.
Oh my gosh, Sailor Moon. Yeah, it catches your eye though. Like when you walk by it.
Oh, childhood cartoon for me.
Yeah,
that was
exactly.
one of the cartoons I watched when I was a kid. So
Yeah,
it had the nostalgia hit to me.
Yeah.
And I like the Sailor Moon series when I was growing up. It was there. It was that Dragon Ball and Pokemon that I would rotate throughout my childhood.
yeah.
The first
Sailor Moon's
animes.
awesome.
The first animes we ever got, I think, were those three.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. What else, Lex? What else stands out for you?
Silent Scope. I managed to beat Silent Scope 1, 2, and 3 when I was there, and also that's also a very difficult game. If I were to, so like for context, you guys always had groups around you, kind of like building in the excitement. Winner stays. Yeah. I was the exact opposite. I would put one quarter in, lose. I'm like, all right, I'm done with this game. I'm not going to ever beat this again. I have no skill level.
That's the spirit.
Yeah, right. I think that's where my ADD manifested from arcade games. But Silent Scope was a lot of fun because that was one I've always wanted to play in arcades, but it was always so expensive. It's like the Toonie game or the Looney game. Mm-hmm. But also very difficult because for the end of each stage, you have one bullet and you have to take out the assailant that has that's holding a hostage.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, right.
And like example, one of the bosses is you're flying around in a helicopter. The guy's running on a baseball or on a football field, and he's holding a hostage. And his weak spot is like his neck. And I'm like, whoa, that's incredibly difficult. And you have the one bullet, right? Because if you mess up, then bye credits.
Yeah.
So it only took me like 11 tries to to shoot him in the neck. Sorry, hostage, but
that was hard too because wasn't there like football players that would try and tackle the guy? So it's like he's moving erratically.
There was so much happening, but I think that's what made it fun because like any other way of playing that game, I never would have tried that. So props to the Galloping Ghost for unlimited play for 3 days. That was a blast.
Yeah. Well, that's a good call out there, Lexus. The Galloping Ghost, you pay a flat fee, and then everything is free play in the arcade. So you're basically just paying for access to the arcade for however long you want, full day, full week, that kind of thing. But the cost of admission is 100% worth the price. They actually have lifetime memberships there that you can buy, and I'm not going to lie. I honestly debated it for probably longer than I should have, being like, should I move to Brookfield for a lifetime membership to this arcade? It crossed my mind genuinely for a few times that weekend. What? Anything else, Lex?
I'm a really big fan of Dead or Alive, the fighting game.
Yeah, you are.
That was not available there, so the closest was Virtual Fighter, and I ended up playing quite a bit of Virtual Fighter there because that was the only cabinet where I felt that, you know what, I can actually get my name on this top 10.
Yeah.
Or what was it, top 3 or top 5 or something?
Yeah, so for context for our listeners, at the Galloping Ghost Arcade, every arcade cabinet there has a high score card on the top of the cabinet, and it shows you the all-time world high score for that game and the top 3 scores that were posted officially from the Galloping Ghost Arcade, which a lot of them include world high scores as well. So it was kind of a big deal to have your name be posted up on the placard on top of the cabinet. So what Lex is talking about for Virtua Fighter is there's your top 3 high scores of all time, official records.
Yeah. There was an empty third slot. There was top 1, second place, and third was empty. I'm like, I can definitely get this. I just have to beat the game with 1 credit.
Yeah.
That was like Sailor Moon difficult.
Really? Oh man.
Yeah, I never got to the end of it on a single credit. I couldn't even do it like with continues because the last boss, I don't know what he does, but he completely input reads you. So
yeah,
it was like just so impossible to win that final match on like 1 credit.
Yeah.
But yeah, I tried exceptionally hard on that one, but I never got my name down.
Oh. Well, we're going to have to make a return visit then for you, Alex, right?
Definitely.
Yeah. Nice. All right, Gigs, how about you? What are some of your call-out or standout memories or games from the Galloping Ghost?
So I got really into bullet hell. Not even bullet hells, but just, the shoot 'em ups.
Yeah.
Shmups. I got really into them while we were there. Like, I never really played them before. And then because they had so many, I kind of made it a goal of mine to try and beat all of them. Not on one quarter, just to beat all of them. And for me, it was just those were the standouts because I kind of got addicted to shmups at the Galloping Ghost. I don't even remember what half of them are, but like R-Type, Gaiden, and like, I don't even know what they're called. They're just weird anime offshoots and stuff like that. But
there was like a
fun
room where there was like 50 bullet hells lined up next to each other, and I feel like I remember you just going through like one end to the other.
I just went. I spent one of the days just in that room basically, and then there were a couple others sprinkled throughout the rest of the arcade, and I would just try and beat them. That's all. I think I got like my initials on a couple of them, but they were just like the in-game initials, like 20th place or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, no. For me, it was just like I got into shmups, and I just was taking in all the nostalgia, man. Like, playing all the games that I remembered growing up.
So they had the Rampage cabinet that I was talking about when I played when I was 5 in Las Vegas. Obviously not the exact same one, but it was a Rampage cabinet, so I had to play that. They had a lot of the Neo Geo cabinets, so all of the King of Fighters, the Bubble Bobbles, the Windjammers, like all of those ones were there. The older ones, I talked about this in a previous episode, Dragon's Lair, that I tried as I mentioned in that episode. Yeah, I tried as an adult. In my current adulthood, I tried playing that game with unlimited credits, and I still could not figure out how to get past like the first 45 seconds to 60 seconds of the game. That game is impossible. I'm convinced that it's not beatable. Whoever has beaten it and has YouTube video, I'm convinced is cheating. There's no way. No way at all. The standards Galaga, right? Like I said, every time I find a Galaga cabinet. So I got my name on the high score board there quite a few times over that 3-day period. So when I'm talking about the placards that have the high scores on the top, I think I might have mentioned this in a previous episode, but the scores are ridiculous. So I got my name on the game high score board, which is just like the high scores for the day or something. And I think I had the number 1 score on one of the days with something like, I don't know, like 150,000 points or something like that. Nothing outrageous, kind of like a respectable, decent score. And then you look at the placard leaderboard on the top for the top 3 high scores. And okay, so I put up a score of 150,000, and these top 3 scores are like in the double millions. Like the number 1 score was something crazy like 141 million points or something like that. I'm like, I genuinely can't wrap my head around how you get that many points in that game on 1 quarter. It like blows my mind. But these it's the Galloping Ghost Arcade, so people will go here to set high score records and have it officially posted. So I thought it was cool just to be a part of the history there. I actually spent a little bit of time there. One of my goals when we went was I want to be a part of the history of this arcade. So I had to find a cabinet that I thought I could do well on. And luckily enough, they had a Street Fighter V cabinet, which is a game that I played competitively. And so I knew that I was pretty decent at Street Fighter V. And so the way that it works at the arcade is if you want to challenge a high score, you let the staff know, and they're going to give you a GoPro, and you're going to clamp it onto the cabinet, and you have to record your entire run because these games will have stipulations. So you have to have only 1 credit or 1 quarter used only. You have to not be exploiting any glitches or whatever in the game if something like that exists. So someone from the official team will review your score, and if it qualifies, they'll post it, right? So Street Fighter V. I went for the high score run on Street Fighter V, and I made it to the second place score all time posted at the Galloping Ghost Arcade, which is a huge achievement for me. I think I did check recently. I think I have been bumped down to third place. I think someone just beat my second place high score this year. So I dropped down to third place maybe, but my name, if anyone goes to the Galloping Ghost Arcade in Brookfield, Illinois, on that Street Fighter V cabinet, my name is up there on the placard as one of the world top scores officially posted at the arcade. So I'm going to hold that bit of street cred with me wherever I go.
Get you a badge. Third place. Top 3.
I would, if I had a third place trophy, I would wear it as a necklace always. And,
it's like Flava Flav, but just the big.
Yeah. Third place high score for Street Fighter V. Yeah. Weird flex for people in general, but I'm proud of that. I'm super proud of that. All right. Any final thoughts? Let's start with you, Lex. Any final thoughts on arcades?
I guess the main thought here is I wish it was still a thing in our day and age. Like, I know we have like a bunch of the ticket ones, but there's something about like just going out and playing games with other people like in that kind of setting that makes it entertaining.
Yeah. Gigs. Last thoughts, arcades?
Nah, I just miss them, man. Like, barcades are kind of trendy-ish nowadays, but it's just like not the same thing, if that makes any sense. That's like people going to a place and then there's arcade games on the side. I want to go to a place where arcade games are the focus and hanging out is like part of it. So
yeah, this is gonna sound maybe snobby on my part, but I 100% understand what you're saying, Gigs, because when you go to a barcade, there are a lot of people who are having fun, who reminisce about the old games, but are not very good at any of these games. So they're just kind of there having fun, drinking, and then there's arcade cabinets, like you said, right? And I really miss that time where you went to the arcade to, like, represent. Like, these were, like, competitive scenarios. You want to have your winner stays scenario. You're going there to challenge games, high scores. You're trying to leave your mark, whether it's at the Galloping Ghost on the official records or if it's at the mall Wizard's Castle and you just want your initials on the high scoreboard. Just having that setting of like, what can I excel at in this arcade and where can I leave my mark? It's just so upsetting that arcades are, I think, technically no longer allowed or legally allowed in our city anymore, which is really disappointing. But this was just like a core part of our childhood, and I just wish that we still had them. So maybe the three of us will have to make another nostalgia trip back down to Brookfield to scratch the itch every couple of years, right?
Or we just make our own in our basement, man.
That is the plan. I'm going to get started on an arcade in my basement when I get the opportunity to. So it might not be the 1,000 arcade cabinet from Galloping Ghost, but I will be happy starting with one cabinet that's in my own house. And that'll hopefully sort of scratch the itch for me and future generations to come, right?
Mm-hmm. The future generation. We'll get them going. We'll make sure that they know what it's up.
All right, folks, that's a wrap for us today on the Triple XP Arcade. Let us know what your favorite arcade memory was, or if you had a favorite arcade game that you couldn't pass up on playing as you were going through your travels. Drop a comment, let us know. And be sure to follow us on socials so you don't miss any episodes with new drops every single Friday. Next week, we're going to conclude our November Nostalgia Month with a little bit of a walk down memory lane on some Saturday morning cartoons. There's going to be a lot of really good ones there. We're going to get a lot of throwbacks and a lot of, oh my gosh, I forgot about that entirely. So really excited to get that one posted for everyone as well. So thank you, everyone. How do I normally sign off?
Peace. I don't know.
Stay nerdy.
Game on, stay nerdy.
There you go. Until then,
Smash that like button, subscribe, ring that bell for notifications.
Oh, I really bungled this one up. Until then, game on, stay nerdy, and remember, you always level up faster at the Triple XP Arcade.